The greatest strategic failure in marketing is the granular dashboard illusion. It's this belief that tracking 100 metrics somehow leads to growth. But it completely ignores the neurological fact that your company, your team, only has the energy to move one North Star at a time. We've been sold this story that more data is always better, that to be data-driven, you need to track every single click, every hover, every second of session time. But what if that very belief is the anchor that's holding you back? What if the real key to growth isn't about adding more charts, but about having the guts to remove all but one? Okay, let's just pause on this for a second, because this one sentence really flies in the face of what we've been taught for decades. This idea of being data-driven has been kind of corrupted. It's created what we call the granular dashboard illusion. This mistaken belief that if we just monitor enough things, success is going to magically appear from the noise. But look, a dashboard with 100 metrics isn't a map, it's a maze. It's designed to drain your resources and pull your focus away from what actually matters. We think we're finding insights, but really we're just drowning in data. More data doesn't bring clarity, it brings chaos. So here's the bottom line. When you try to track everything, you end up optimizing for nothing. Your company literally becomes a distraction machine. Think about it. Every hour your product team spends trying to bump up session time by a few % is a precious hour they're not spending on the one core action that delivers real value to your customer. Every marketing meeting spent picking apart social likes, it's just a colossal waste of focus. And this isn't just inefficient, it's like a form of organizational self-sabotage. You're burning through your most valuable assets, time, energy, focus, on things that feel busy but produce zero real growth. And this slide really lays it all out. It's the stark difference between seductive noise and powerful signal. On one side, you have vanity metrics, things like page views, social likes, session time. They feel good, right? They're easy to measure, easy to put in a report, but they are pure noise. They don't predict a single dollar of future revenue, and they definitely don't prove a customer got what they came for. But on the other side, you have the signal of a true North Star, and it's built on 3 pillars. Are we delivering real value? Does that value predict future revenue? And can our entire team actually rally around moving this number? One side is a distraction, the other is a destination. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Forget all that, my North Star is revenue. And honestly, that is one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into. Revenue isn't a star that guides you forward, it's a ghost. It's the echo of the value you created weeks, maybe even months ago. Focusing only on revenue is like trying to drive a car forward by staring into the rearview mirror. It tells you where you've been, sure, but it gives you absolutely zero useful information about the road ahead. Sustainable growth demands a predictive, leading indicator, a metric that tells you, because we did this today, revenue will come tomorrow. It's about measuring the velocity of value creation, not just a static number. All right, so here's our game plan. We've just talked about the dashboard illusion. Next, we're going to look at the crisis that actually forced this new way of thinking. Then we'll break down the engine that makes a North Star metric work, dive into the psychology behind it, and give you a clear blueprint for mastery. And we'll end on the core idea: focus is why we win. To really get why the North Star metric is so critical, you have to understand its origin story. This wasn't some theory cooked up in a business school classroom. Nope. It was forged in the fire of a massive industry-wide crisis, a moment when the fundamental rules of how you grow a company were completely shattered and then rewritten from scratch. This timeline shows you exactly how the growth playbook was forced to change. Back in the early 2010s, it was the growth at all costs era. The only thing that mattered was user acquisition. Companies raised insane amounts of money just to buy users, celebrating things like total registered users. And then the bubble popped. We saw these companies with millions of users on paper just go bankrupt. Why? Because they had confused presence with utility. They had 1 million people in the door, but the product wasn't delivering any core repeatable value. That epic failure forced a massive shift to what we now call the Value-Exchange era, where the focus snapped from just getting users to getting them to that aha moment. And this shift in questioning is everything. Investors, founders, entire teams, they stopped asking the old superficial question, how many people signed up? They started asking the new, much more powerful question: how many people actually experienced the core value of our product? How many people got to that aha moment? This wasn't just a tweak in language, it was a revolution in how success itself was defined. It was the collective realization that the only growth that actually matters is growth that's rooted in delivering real value. So, this new focus on value needed a new operating system. You can't just pick a metric out of a hat and call it a day. You need a rigorous system to make sure it's the right one. And that system is the Value-Exchange Synchronizer. The best way to think about it is like a high-performance engine for your growth. It's built with 3 critical interlocking parts that act like gates. Any metric you're considering has to pass through all 3 of these gates to earn the title of a true North Star. The first gate is the Value-Proxy. Let's call it the success gate. This is without a doubt the most important piece of the puzzle. Your metric has to be a direct proxy for the value your customer receives. It must represent that aha moment, that specific point where the user achieves the thing they came to your product to do. For Dropbox, it's not when you sign up, it's that magic moment when your first file successfully syncs across 2 devices. That is the win. If your metric doesn't represent a clear victory for your customer, it's failed the very first test. The second gate is revenue correlation, or the math gate. This is the reality check. It's not enough for your customers to feel successful. That success has to mathematically connect to the long-term health of your business. You have to be able to prove with cold, hard data that as your value proxy goes up, customer lifetime value, or LTV, also goes up. This isn't a guess. This is running the numbers and seeing that users who hit that aha moment stick around longer, they upgrade more often, and they use your product more. If there's no correlation, you might have a great hobby, but you don't have a scalable business. Customer success has to predict business success, period. And the third and final gate is actionability, the team gate. This is what makes the whole thing real for your organization. A North Star can't be some abstract number living on a spreadsheet. It has to be a metric that every single person in the company, the engineers simplifying the onboarding flow, the marketer writing an email about a key feature, the salesperson showing the aha moment in a demo, can look at and say, I know how my work today moves that number. It has to be tangible, it has to be relatable, it has to empower the entire team. So when you put it all together, you can really see the power of this system. The 3 gates work together perfectly. The value proxy keeps you focused on your customer, the revenue correlation ensures you're building a viable business, and actionability makes sure your whole team is aligned and pulling in the same direction. This creates a system of what we call recursive prioritization. It means every project, every feature, every campaign can be judged against one simple question. Will this move our North Star metric? It just cuts through all the noise and makes decision-making at every level incredibly simple. Now, a system this powerful doesn't just work because the math adds up. It works because it taps directly into some really deep principles of human psychology. It actually leverages the way our brains are wired to create motivation and drive progress, not just for your team, but for your users too. Internally, for your team, this whole system runs on something called the progress principle. Our brains are biologically hardwired to crave clear goals and to see visible progress. When you throw 100 different KPIs at a team, you trigger what's called the chaos reflex. It's that feeling of analysis paralysis, of anxiety. But when you give them one single North Star to aim for, you do the exact opposite. You provide clarity, you turn off the chaos, and you deliver something we can call focused dopamine, that little neurological reward we get from having a clear mission and seeing that we're making real progress. You aren't limiting your team, you're freeing them. So, what does this psychological shift actually look like in the real world? How does it actually change how your team performs and how loyal your customers are? Man, the difference is just night and day. On one side, you've got the team that's drowning in 100 KPIs. The world is full of conflicting priorities, endless meetings debating which metric matters this week, and this constant feeling that they can never really win. It leads straight to burnout, paralysis, and chaos. But on the other side, you've got the team that's united by a single North Star. Their meetings are short and focused on moving one number. They experience focus, clarity, and the motivation that comes from those little dopamine hits of making clear, measurable progress. Every single day, they know exactly what winning looks like. Now, for your users, this focus taps into something called the goal gradient effect. It's a simple idea. The closer a person gets to reaching a goal, the more motivated they become to finish. A product that's built around a North Star is designed to constantly create these little success events. And as users see this progress, as they send their messages or sync their files, they start to feel a sense of ownership. This creates what's known as the endowment effect. The product isn't just a tool anymore, it's their space, filled with their progress. And that builds this incredible halo of reliability that deepens loyalty and makes them far more willing to pay. Okay, we get the problem, we get the history, we understand the machine and the psychology behind it. Now let's get practical. How do you actually build this system inside your own organization? This is your blueprint for mastery. It comes down to 4 crucial steps. First, you have to architect your atomic value unit. Find that single most important action. Second, you engineer the revenue bridge. You do the math and you prove the correlation to LTV. Third, and this one takes serious discipline, you automate KPI suppression. This means if a metric is not your North Star, you get it off the main dashboards. You remove the distraction. And finally, you shift how you measure, from volume to velocity. You start measuring the rate of change. This is the velocity multiple, and it's non-negotiable. It's a far truer sign of health than any static total. So, the atomic value unit is basically the core verb of your business. It's the simplest, most essential action. That means value was just delivered. For a company like Slack, it isn't better collaboration, it's messages sent. For Uber, it's not cities we're in, it is trips completed. Finding this singular atomic verb is the absolute foundation for identifying your true North Star. As we bring this all home, you start to see that the North Star metric isn't just a better way to make a dashboard. It really represents the ultimate fusion of data and humanity. It's a system that respects the analytical power of data, but it also honors the deep psychological needs of the people, both your team and your customers, who are the real engine of your business. And all of this leads to a fundamental shift in how we think about growth. For decades, we've been obsessed with the funnel, right? Pushing people through these artificial stages. The North Star model just flips that whole idea on its head. It's not about pushing, it's about pulling. When you architect your entire company around delivering a single, crystal clear point of value, you create a kind of gravitational force. You don't need to force customers through a funnel. They are naturally and willingly pulled toward the value you create for them. And that's the final idea I want to leave you with. We tend to think of growth as this smooth, straight line going up and to the right. But real, sustainable growth is never an accident and it is never a straight line. It's a learned discipline. It's the result of learning how to ignore all the noise, how to build a system where what's best for your customer is also what's best for your business, and how to rally your entire organization behind that single point of truth. It's a system that works because it delivers a better deal for everyone involved than they could have ever expected.